Hi guys, it's ASBYT and today we're talking about the Insta360 One X, potentially a very special product if you're in the market for a 360-degree action camera, and we've got some serious accessories. So let's check out what we've got, let's lay everything bare, and along the way I'm going to be showing you some footage taken with this. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. If you're new to the channel and love everything tech, news, unboxings, reviews, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and ding that notification bell so that every time I post a video you are notified and can stay up to date with all of the latest tech. Right, so firstly we have of course the main event, the Insta360 One X 360-degree action camera. Clues in the name, I would imagine they're aiming this at the Insta generation, the vloggers of this world, but we all go on holiday, right? And we all want to capture those life-changing moments, so let's see exactly what it can do. So we've got 5.7K video, 18 megapixel photo, we've got flow state stabilization, 360-degree capture, cinematic slow-mo, invisible selfie stick, bullet time, and that is potentially mind-blowing. Free capture editing, Wi-Fi preview and transfer. And as we open the box up, we have of course the Insta360 One X camera, and from now on we're going to refer to it as the One X because it's a long name, right? We haven't got time for that. We've got a bullet time accessory, we've got the protective pouch, the battery, the charging cable, the quick start guide, the warranty card, packing list, etc. And then underneath it says made for Android, made for iPhone and iPad, and works with Mac. We've also got what's known as the bullet time bundle. So this apparently gives you smooth and stable bullet time shots, the invisible selfie stick, which disappears instantly apparently. We've also got the extended edition selfie stick. We've got 2 more rechargeable batteries and a dual battery charging dock. So we've got all the gear. The question is, have we got any idea? Well, let's find out. Let's hit the open road. Right, so firstly, with an action camera, one of the most important things is of course frame rate and resolution, because at the end of the day, if you're doing a lot of high intensity, very fast paced action shooting, you need it to be smooth as well. And also if you are looking to crop in, for example, again, that high resolution comes in handy. So along those lines, in the settings, you can either have 5.7K 360-degree video at 30 frames a second, or you can have 4K at 50 frames per second and 3K at 100 frames per second, which is absolutely awesome for slow-mo recording. In an ideal world, I would like to see a slightly larger display on the actual One X to make it easier to control all of the settings, etc. on the actual device, because I personally, while you can do that, I found it a lot easier to use my phone and use the app downloaded from the Play Store. So functional on the device, just not amazing.
Right, so I'm actually holding the selfie stick right now, and you probably can't, I'm just looking on my phone, you can obviously see that my hand is clenched, like it's holding, looks like it's holding something, but the actual stick is completely invisible. So unless you were looking out for it, you probably wouldn't realise that someone was actually holding their own camera. You would think that someone else was filming them. And I've got it on the shortest setting here with this stick. I'm actually going to make it longer. And that is the longest for this first attachment, but of course there is a much bigger attachment which you can use as well. So if you wanted like an almost drone-esque feeling to your video footage, you can do that as well.
Also, along the lines of smooth shots, with a feature called flow state stabilization, you get true gimbal-like stabilization on every axis. So if you're a mountain biker, snowboarder, or you want to attach it to, I don't know, a car or a dog, you can do that. Like legitimately, it is ridiculously smooth. I can even see filmmakers, for example, using this if they've got an action scene, a car chase, anything like that. Now the flow state data is actually auto-recorded, so you can switch it on or off actually after recording your video. Now there's a mobile app which you can download on iOS or Android, and you can adjust the stabilization there. On the flip side, if you just want to use your computer, you can use the Insta360 Studio Beta and turn on use flow state when you export the video. One huge feature is the fact that of course you don't have to point your camera in a specific direction when looking to shoot video, because it captures everything, and then you can then select what you want afterwards. The camera will follow along with what you're doing, and it will pan smoothly to wherever you want. And there's a feature on this camera called free capture. So after the event on the app, you can open a video, long press on a specific part of the screen that you want to actually activate free capture, and you can move the phone to record the angle that you actually want from all of the 360-degree footage.
Now I have seen other people using this with a belt as well, so that basically the selfie stick is actually attached to the belt, which means that you don't actually have to hold it with one hand, so you can literally just have both hands free, and it has to feel much more like someone else is filming you, which is a really handy tool. Didn't seem to be in my package from Insta360. Maybe they don't do it anymore, but if they do, I'll find out, and obviously I'll let you know, because I think that's a really good addition.
You can keyframe your video to create smooth cinematic camera movement, and you can track objects, meaning they will always stay in the center of the frame. There's also a wicked feature called time shift, and in layman's terms it basically means you can speed up footage, slow it down, halt certain bits to create some wicked time-lapse shots or build certain dramatic storylines, for example, and that is really fun to play around with. So you can get a real-time preview of the shots you've actually taken on your phone, and then you can send over footage in an instant. Of course, if you're a little bit more traditional, you can go with a cable. There's a Type-C cable and a Lightning cable included as well if you're an iPhone user. Now here's a huge claim to fame. The One X is the first ever action camera to support HDR video, and you can turn HDR on to take photos as well. One potential downside to that is that HDR video is only available in static shots, which is a bit disappointing considering this camera will appeal to the action cam style of user, but hopefully that may come with a future product. You can tweak lots of different settings, including exposure, white balance, shutter speed, for example, and you can do interval shoot, and you can do interval, why can't I say them words? And you can do interval shooting, time lapses, hyperlapses, all the lapses. Now there is a feature that's only available on the iOS app, and that is natural view, and that basically means you can switch from the default fisheye view to a more natural 90-degree FOV that you would usually get from a standard camera. And of course, as mentioned, if you want to take photos with it, you can take some great 18 megapixel shots. Now I personally wouldn't use this device for photography, but there'll be hundreds of people that still use DSLRs and may want to use their action camera as well, and it's a great all-in-one. Now I had so much fun playing around with the bullet time bundle. You can use it to get right in the heart of the action, and again, because they make that selfie stick completely invisible, you can really get some amazing footage. Now every now and again on certain angles you will see almost like a ghosting line where the stick is. It does happen pretty rarely, but I just thought I'd let you know it's not 100% perfect. Also, using the mini tripod and using the Tiny Planet software feature in the edit, you can do really crazy things like make it look like you're walking around the globe and stuff like that, and it's certainly something you can have great fun playing around with. Now one thing about the One X that I'm a little bit skeptical about is in the area of its actual design. I'm not too sure on the durability of the lenses because they do both protrude out of that main device section, and therefore if you're resting it on certain surfaces it may scratch, it may crack, because at the end of the day it is a camera lens. I've had absolutely no problems in this department, and they do give you a protective carry case as well. I understand it almost needs to be like that because it is a 360 camera, and I'm not too sure whether there is anything they can do about that. It's just something again that I thought I'd mention. Now in terms of battery life, it's not amazing, it's not terrible. You roughly get around an hour's worth of filming, and of course you do have those replacement batteries you can take with you, so you don't necessarily have to charge after that time. If you take 2 or 3 batteries out with you on each shoot, you shouldn't really have too many problems. Now because the footage you are gaining is in a 360 format, if you drag the files directly from the micro SD card in the One X to your computer, you won't be able to edit the files there and then on your standard editing software. Luckily for you guys, Insta360 actually have their own editing software. Not only does it come on computer form, i.e. Windows and Mac OS, but you can also download an app on Android and iOS to actually edit straight there and then from your phone. And then once everything's edited within that software, you can then export it into regular formats like MP4. And one of the great things about their in-house editing software is it is incredibly easy to use. It only really took me around 5 to 10 minutes to work out pretty much everything there was to know, and then you set up. And then once I'd finished all the editing, I then exported as an MP4 file and dragged it into my Final Cut Pro project for this video. Super easy to use.
Oh, nearly chomped my fingers off. You're a beast.
All in all, it's a really cracking device, and if you're in the market for an action camera, a 360-degree one at that, which is heavily feature-rich, then you'll definitely want to consider the One X and compare it to other similar products. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about the Insta360 One X. I will leave a link to all of this gear in the video description below, so if you want more information or indeed want to go through and purchase it, you can go and do that. Like and share if you did enjoy this video and found it helpful. Subscribe and hit that notification bell if you're new to the channel and want to be notified every time I post a video on anything tech, pretty much daily content here on YouTube. I love you and leave you. I'll see you in the next one. So ASBYT, peace out. And you can do interval shoot, and you can do interval. Why can't I say them words?